When you first come to Waldorf, it can be really overwhelming to look at all the wonderful art supplies. And I know some moms come to it and they get so overwhelmed that they just run off and go, they're too expensive and I just can't afford them, and what's wrong with what I have at home? And really and truly, it's a progression. I would absolutely never suggest that you do everything at once. That would be really hard on your budget. Unless, of course, you have, you have the funds available to dive in with both feet. But I wanted to show you today just a few things and a few reasons why we really love the Waldorf art supplies that we have. Now, you can see just from how we store things that we've had these for quite some time. Harry is, my oldest son is now 12, and we have had probably 50% of the pencils and crayons in these areas here for easily 10 years. And so we started out with them a long time ago. These are very, very durable and they last a really long time. So one of the things that you're buying when you buy, you spend the money, is you buy quality. These are really good beeswax crayons. They have beautiful color and they last a long time. And I know some people prefer to keep them in the tin that they come in, and that's perfectly fine as well. What I found over time was that the tins tend to break down, and when you have a lot of kids, it's easy to just put them in a tub. One thing that moms have said is, oh, well, when you put them in a tub, then they rub against each other more, and they get colors on each other, and that is true. You can clean them with a little bit of essential oil, or I've even heard of some moms that clean them with a little bit of dish soap. So that really helps get some of the crayon residue off of there. But don't be afraid to keep them out for your children all the time. This is a culmination of about 10 years worth of collecting crayons, and actually we have far more than this. But don't be afraid to leave them out for them to work with them. And, the more reverence you show the crayons and the more, you kind of model for them, then the better that they'll be treated. We have a couple in here that, that have broken over the years, but not many. I will warn you, for those of you that have toddlers, that there's something with the yellow and the red and the orange that must taste good, because Samuel ate a lot of crayons until we realized that he was eating them, and so there's bite marks on some of our crayons. But luckily there's also this great crayon sharpener, and you can tell that this one's really used and worn. We carry it in our store as well, and it's a great sharpener, and it sharpens these crayons really well. And I went for years without one, and we worked just fine with that one, but everybody kind of likes having a nice crisp looking crayon every now and again. So those are great. But too, the pencils are such, the quality is so wonderful. And we carry both, or we've used both these that we carry in our store, and they're both by Lira. And there's the Super Furby, and then there's just the Furby. If it's a decision between the two, cost-wise, I would go with the longer ones, just because they'll last you a lot longer. A lot of the pencils that we have in here, some of the short ones, started out really long. So over the years, they've gotten sharpened and worn down. But, as far as being able to really have a really good pencil, the color that comes from these is so absolutely beautiful, and it's very even toned. And so you can really do a lot with these pencils. They're also perfect for writing in the early grades before you're introducing them to pen, and so we do use them for that as well. So these are wonderful. These are made by Stockmar and by Lira, and we carry those in our store as well. One of the things that we're starting to do is branching out a little bit more with the older children, and we found these that we can get as well. They're from Europe, and these are called Progresso, and they're a good mid-priced pencil that I think is probably in between these and then maybe the Lira Rembrandts, which we'll be carrying as well. But these are sort of some of the colors that we've gotten from these Progresso pencils, and I really like these because they don't have a wooden barrel on them. It's just a lacquer that's over the top of the color, and so you really tend to get a lot more and have to sharpen a lot less. And so I liked that. I also liked the the Progresso because there's a beautiful illumination kind of technique that you can do with pencil shavings. And we've done it with some of the others, but you kind of, when you're doing when you're sharpening the pencil, you kind of have to then pull out the wooden piece, that the wood that gets sharpened along with it. And what I found with these Progressos is that because there is no wooden barrel, you kind of don't have that issue. So what you would do is kind of take your pencil shavings, and we just have ours in a pill container, and we have them separated out for all of the colors so that you can kind of have fun with the different colors. But then what you would do to just kind of give your page a little bit of color is you can then, and I hope the camera can pick it up, you can put the shavings on the page, and then you can kind of work it in the page a little bit, and you can see it illuminates the page. And this is perfect for background in some of your children's writings in their main lesson books, where you may not want to take a full block crayon to the background, but you want to just kind of have the page not be so stark and white. And so this is a technique that they would use in the schools often too, so that they can kind of, again, not have that bright white page and kind of has a background for their writing. So again, this is something that's super easy to do. You just sharpen your pencils, and then you hang on to those pencil shavings. So you know, kind of have some fun with that. But again, I really liked using the Progressos for that, because then there was not the wood shavings that we had to pull out. And anytime I can make something simple, it's a good thing. So you know, watch our store. We're going to be carrying these Progresso ones right now. We're actually ordering these now. We always have been carrying the Lira ones, the Furbies and the Super Furbies. We're also going to start carrying the Rembrandts as well. Another thing that I want to talk about really quick with regards to the Lira pencils, and I really like these. These are just plain old graphite pencils or lead pencils, and they're great for young children that are learning to write. They just have a regular lead on them, but they're triangular shaped, just like some of the Furbies are. So that makes it really easy to make sure they have a perfect pencil grip when they're doing their schoolwork. So these are a great training pencil. As far as pencil goes, I think that you really cannot beat the quality of the Lira and the Stockmar pencils. And the same with the crayons. I think that the Waldorf art supplies are absolutely fabulous. For those of you who haven't seen our Coloring with Block Crayons DVD, we have that too, and we carry the block crayons that go with them. And we carry them also in just the 3 primary colors. So if you don't want to buy the whole tin, since you can really pretty much make all the colors of the rainbow, you can just purchase these 3. So that makes it really easy as well, and that goes with the block crayon DVD. Another thing I want to talk about really quickly is chalk. I absolutely love the blackboard chalk that we carry in our store. Now, I've had some emails from moms that have ordered it, and they'll email me and say, oh no, I got my chalk and it was broken. And really, you want it to be broken, because one of the things that I do when I first get a new bucket of chalk or a new box of chalk is I go ahead and I break it up. And I went ahead, and we eat a lot of artichokes and a lot of garlic in our house. So I have a lot of these little containers, but you can use baby food jars or any kind of small glass container. And I like it because I can easily see through it. And then I just keep the chalks that I need for our chalkboard drawings in these, and just keep them really close at hand, so it's really easy to get to them. And really, the smaller pieces of chalk are a lot easier when you're doing blackboard drawing anyway. So you know, kind of keep that in mind. If you get broken chalks, it's a good thing. Just break them up smaller. I usually like pieces that are maybe an inch or so big. Anything bigger will give you trouble when you're writing. So that's pretty much it when it comes to Waldorf art supplies. We're going to be doing a series of small commercials so that you can get a chance to look at all the supplies and kind of how they go together and how you can utilize them in your day. But I hope that, you know, if you have these supplies, that you're enjoying them, and if you're on the fence about buying them, that you'll really think about putting some effort into owning some of them, because I think you'll really be glad that you did. So thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Bye now.